Today, this gathering will be shown evidence of how the will of the people, which is supposed to be expressed willingly, freely, at election days on 7th December, is being bought, an attempt to buy the will of the people through our regional chairman for the northern region, to compromise his position so that many things can be done to steal the will of the people. This is quite shameful in our democracy. And it's something we should let Ghanaians, the voters, the general public, and the international community to know about it. It's very shameful. In fact, it's shameful to our democracy. We tout ourselves as one of the best election and democratic countries in Africa. But I don't think in other African countries they go and buy people's votes, which is even against our own laws. Treating and buying of votes, corruption, is against the Political Parties Act. And we must all feel ashamed of it and speak against it vehemently. So that's why we have brought you here. And I would like to call on Sheikh Hamid to do the delivery of whatever has transpired on this subject.
We have invited you here this afternoon on a matter that is of grave concern, not only to us, but to the people of Ghana. The unity and cohesion of our country should not be sacrificed on the altar of political expediency. We should all stand up and fight against those who wish to divide this country merely because they want to perpetuate themselves in power. It is important that we name and shame those who seek political office on the altar of tribalism, ethnocentrism, and bribery and corruption. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sure you all witnessed the big and warm welcome that Nana Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia received in the 3 northern regions recently. Indeed, in the Greater Accra region and the Volta region as well, we have witnessed massive show of support for the Nana Bawumia ticket. In the north in particular, the sound and feel of change is in the air. The ground has shifted, and it is the people who have tasted bitterness and sweetness, and knowing too well the difference, who have decided to move in their numbers from those who cheat, lie, and disappoint, that is the NDC, to those who deliver, the NPP. The president and his party gurus know the ground is not good. Their party foot soldiers in the north feel that they have been seduced, used, abused, and refused. They struggle to pay fees and their electricity bills. They don't have jobs. They feel abandoned. They feel disrespected. And the youth are convinced that government does not care about their future. Mahama has killed the hope of the young people. We must revive it. And more farmers, women, and young people in the 3 northern regions see hope and a brighter future in the Nana Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Dr. Bawumia ticket. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, instead of President Mahama concentrating his efforts on fighting poverty, ignorance, and disease in the north, he only sees northerners as pawns in his political chess game, who he must manipulate to perpetuate himself in power in order to continue with the rape of the public purse. Many communities across the north do not have drinking water. And when their brother, who is president, purports to give them water in the form of boreholes, he uses it as an avenue to make money for himself and his family and friends. For every borehole that President Mahama sinks in the north, 5 villages are denied same. Northerners are still seething with anger over the 60,000 cedis per borehole project. The story of Sada and the rape of the north has become the butt of many jokes in Ghana. The NDC has targeted the north with 5 key things. 1, they want to cheat by using election officers who have been carefully selected for this exercise. They want to intimidate voters and our agents with violence and the threat of violence. They want to excite hatred against northerners and amongst northerners against southerners, particularly Akans, in order to continue exploiting the north. They want to use cash and other material things to buy the conscience of voters. Above all, the NDC has a big plan to buy the loyalty of party executives and polling agents of the NPP and all the other opposition parties. 1. On the plan to cheat using election officers, we know for a fact that it will not work, and for 3 reasons. Not many election officers are prepared to cheat for them this time. Our agents are prepared to defend the ballots and know that once they police the process well, no election officer can get away with cheating. The ordinary people in communities across the northern region are saying that they themselves will watch over the entire process. They will not go home after voting. They will stay there and watch without interfering. They are determined to have a peaceful and clean election. On the issue of intimidating voters and party agents, the NPP wants to call on the security agencies to sit up to their responsibility. We do not want to be forced to defend ourselves. We want those who are paid to defend the people and properties to do their jobs without fear or favor. But we want the NDC to know that we shall not be intimidated by them. We are prepared to defend the Constitution and our votes. We will therefore appeal to them to help us keep this election violent-free. Our young people need jobs, not weapons. The president is at it again. He's playing the worst form of politics known to the world, tribal politics. The danger in what he's doing is that he's in fact turning Gonja against Mamprusi, Konkomba against Gonja, and Nanumba against Konkomba, etc. In 2012, the NDC used cash to buy votes. They went from house to house, sharing money and sometimes even sharing goodies. And sharing money to those who were already even in line on voting day to vote. We believe the vote buying only worked to some extent in 2012 because the people of the North were somehow persuaded by the assurances from Dramani Mahama that he's our brother, he's our father, he's our son, and can therefore be trusted to make sure we prosper and get our fair share of the national cake. The people of the North trusted him. I am confident from what I hear and see on the ground that this time vote buying will not work in the North. I cannot speak for other regions. The people of the North were told by President John Mahama to vote for him because he's one of us and can be trusted to develop the North faster and better. But what we saw was that he rather allowed his close friends like Roland Agambiri to use the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority to steal most of the 300 million cedis that was given to SADA and meant to help the people of the North. Today, our people are sad, hungry, ashamed, and feel very insulted by President Dramani Mahama. He exploited us and used our name through SADA to enrich his friends and family and to make our people even poorer. Today, under a president who comes from the North, the people of the North are poorer than they were under the late President Mills before 2012 and President Kufuor before 2009. But President John Dramani Mahama has not apologized to the people of the 3 regions of the North for using our name to take money which have been shared among family and friends. Not a single person has been sent to court over the SADA rot. Roland Agambiri, who promised to build a Hope City, left Ghana for Dubai City and left the North in calamity. The people of the North feel cheated, insulted, and embarrassed. We gave our son, our brother, John Dramani Mahama, our cola, and he chewed it all and spat it back in our faces. Never again. The biggest concern we have now are efforts from the president and his party to exploit the poverty that they have made worse in their efforts to avoid defeat. They want to buy and steal votes in the North, but they can only succeed if we allow them. They tried it in 2012 and it worked. They are trying it again in 2016, but it will not work. And my job here is to show to the country why we are sure it will not work. Ladies and gentlemen, now to the substance of the matter. Since the new Patriotic Party elected its regional executives in January 2014, followed by the election of national officers in April 2014, President Mahama and his people have not relented in their evil ways and means to use money to get some of our own people to work against the NPP. Fortunately for us, with all their cash, cars, and lies, they have failed. And I want to send a message to any party member or executive who is taking money from the NDC to work against the NPP. Please do not do it. If you do so, you work against yourself, your party, and your country. I want to focus on the experience of our Northern Regional Chairman, Mr. Daniel Bugri Naabu. On Friday, the 28th of October 2016, our Northern Regional Chairman, Mr. Daniel Bugri Naabu, was invited to meet President John Mahama. The meeting was set up by his brother, Ibrahim Mahama, and a friend of his called Muhammad Awal. Ibrahim Mahama and Awal drove to the office of Bugri Naabu in Osu, which is near the Osu police station in Accra, shortly before 9 p.m. It was Alhaji Awal who walked to Bugri Naabu's office. With Bugri Naabu were Majid Bawa and one John Kweku Alasan, who contested the NPP parliamentary primaries in our Yunyo constituency in the north. Awal said that the president wanted to see Bugri Naabu and insisted that it was important that Bugri Naabu meets with the president. Bugri got into the front seat of Ibrahim's car, a brown Jeep with a partition. So he could not even see who was in the car, but he was told that the president was in the back. He did not look. If the president was in the car, he did not say a word, and Ibrahim drove from Bugri's office in Osu to his airport residential area residence. Awal drove behind them in his saloon car. When they got to Ibrahim's house, they used a back door. Bugri walked with Ibrahim and Awal into an inner living room. According to Bugri Naabu, he was genuinely scared. He was not sure what was going to happen next. Less than 5 minutes later, the president entered the room through the same route that they took. At this time, Bugri was curious to find out what really they had in mind, because Alhaji Awal had been trying for over 6 months to get him to meet the president. Around the same time, Ibrahim Mahama had tried to convince Bugri with money to leave the NPP to become a chief after Daniel Bugri Naabu's uncle died, but Bugri refused. Even before Awal, there was one Hadi bin Salih who came with a message to Bugri shortly after he was elected Northern Regional Chairman, that the president and his brother Ibrahim wanted to meet with him urgently. Bugri did not pay heed. They did not give up, because the central plank of their campaign in 2016 was and still is the disunity or the perception of disunity in the NPP. At the funeral of our late former national chairman, Jake Obechebi Lamte, at the forecourt of the State House, the president himself appealed to Bugri Naabu. Bugri Naabu was with Alhaji Short, our Upper West Regional Chairman, and Murtala, our Upper East Regional Chairman. When the president got to them when he was shaking people, he gave Bugri Naabu a hug and said into Bugri's ears, "I want to see you. I want to see you. I must see you." Alhaji Short even heard it. So the two of them laughed over it, wondering what the president was looking for. They even joked that he was probably looking for a new big fish to work with in the NPP. Nearly 3 months ago, Bugri was in his office when Ibrahim Mahama came with Alhaji Awal, where he was asked to sit in Ibrahim's car. The president's brother's first statement to Bugri was this, quote, "Why are you with these Ashanti people? You know they don't respect us Northerners," unquote. He said he and his brother were prepared to give Bugri a very handsome pension package if he will quit the NPP and destroy any chances that Akufo-Addo may have at winning the presidency. Ibrahim Mahama gave Bugri Naabu 10,000 cedis for transport back to Tamale through Alhaji Awal. But Bugri told Alhaji Awal straight that it was impossible for him to leave the NPP or to destroy a good man like Akufo-Addo. But they will not listen. They were determined to catch this big elephant. They kept putting pressure on Awal to put pressure on Bugri. Eventually, Bugri accepted their invitation to meet with the president out of curiosity. Ladies and gentlemen, 28th October 2016, meeting with the president. Now, let me get back to the meeting with the president, now that I have given you enough background. The meeting took place in the house of Ibrahim Mahama, close to Gold House at Airport Residential Area, after 9 p.m. that Friday. In the meeting was Bugri Naabu, the president, who sat in a chair to Bugri Naabu's left, his brother Ibrahim Mahama, who sat in a chair to Bugri Naabu's right, and Awal, who sat further away from the president in another chair. They met for over an hour until about 11 p.m. that night. Ibrahim started the meeting by saying that he had been talking to Bugri for some time now, and Bugri was playing hard. But now he has agreed to meet, and he was sure that Bugri was ready to strike a deal with them. His words were this, and I quote, "I have been talking to him," that's Bugri Naabu, "for a long time, but he did not agree. But now he's ready to support you," that is President Mahama, "for your second term," unquote. The president responded, first by thanking Bugri Naabu. He went on to say that he's a northerner like Bugri and has not been happy with the things that Bugri has been saying about him. He also mentioned Dr. Bawumia as another northerner who was very harsh on him. And he said that as the only northern president we have, that it was through him that Bawumia got to work at the central bank. The president said that nothing pains him more than Ajia Samira Bawumia, the wife of Bawumia, who has been very harsh on him. The president then went on to say that Nana Akufo-Addo does not like northerners. Bugri Naabu told him that it cannot be true. The president said it was true, and that was why Afoko was suspended. Bugri told him that it was not true, but Afoko brought it upon himself, and it was his behavior that got the party to suspend him, not Akufo-Addo. Then they went ahead to tell Bugri what the deal was. The president's brother led the discussion. He said Bugri was supposed to resign and damage Akufo-Addo beyond electability. According to the president, Bugri should paint Akufo-Addo as a rabid anti-northern person who could never be trusted to advance the cause of the people of the North. He was supposed to tell the world that it was Nana Akufo-Addo who got him to turn against Afoko, and that he was now wiser. He was supposed to say that Akufo-Addo was knocking the head of one northerner against the other. Bugri was supposed to say that Akufo-Addo was running a one-man show in the NPP. He was supposed to label Akufo-Addo as a dictator and to say that if Akufo-Addo doesn't like you, you are in trouble. And that Bugri was supposed to say that it was Nana who got him to suspend the Northern Regional Women's Organizer of the NPP. They then went on to tell Daniel Bugri Naabu that he was supposed to resign from the NPP, damage Akufo-Addo as an anti-Northern person, a rabid hater of Northerners, and in turn they were going to give him a brand new V6 Mitsubishi vehicle, a brand new V8 Land Cruiser, 3.3 million Ghana cedis. Bugri Naabu is owed by government to the tune of 247,000 Ghana cedis from road contracts that he has done, which government has not been paying for several years. They promised to pay that money instantly. And then on the spot, they brought him 500,000 Ghana cedis cash. Wow. In 50 Ghana cedis notes. Ibrahim Mahama dropped it right in front of him. Now, it's sad. It's terribly sad. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirty, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country. And then they gave the money to Bugri Naabu. And then he took the money and left. It was a Friday, 28th of October 2016. So the very next day was a Saturday. And Bugri Naabu found the one prudential bank that he knew would be open at that time. That's the Abosokan branch of Prudential Bank. And then he went and deposited the money in his account. His account number is 00909855900013. Account name Daniel Bugri Naabu. A few 00909855900013. And out of that money, immediately Ibrahim Mahama told Bugri Naabu to take 50,000 out of it and give it to Alhaji Awal. Alhaji Awal being the go-between, the man who facilitated the meeting, and that they will replace the 50,000 later. A few days later, at Bugri Naabu's daughter's funeral in Tamale, true to word, President Mahama sent a high-powered delegation to Bugri Naabu's daughter's funeral, led by Deputy Chief of Staff Kenneth Wujanji. There was Dr. Mustapha Hamid in that delegation. There was Ibrahim Mahama himself in that delegation. And then the president went and gave Bugri Naabu an additional 10,000. In other words, a donation of 10,000 was made on behalf of the president. Then Ibrahim Mahama himself gave 20,000 as funeral donation. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, days later, they made good. I've listed all the promises that they made. Mitsubishi V6, Pajero V8. Days later, they delivered the Mitsubishi brand new V6. It is actually packed in this yard now. When we finish, journalists can go and have a look at it. Now, these are the original documents of the Mitsubishi V6. This is Bugri Naabu's picture that they have put on it. This vehicle. Okay, 2nd November 2016 was when the change of ownership was done. But this vehicle was imported in August of 2016. And it originally was imported and is owned by a company called Malin Investments. Malin Investments registrar. Okay, we have obtained Malin Investment Company Limited is the name of the company. So we ourselves did a check with the Registrar General to find out who are the owners of Malin Investments Company Limited. Yeah. And the two directors of Malin Investments are one Hawa Mahama, Hawa Hayisi Ai Mahama, and Frank Nuhu Alomaso. And Frank Alo, everybody knows, is personal assistant to President Mahama. So this company is owned by the president. Hawa Mahama, I leave you to go and find out. This is how far we have find out. But I'm sure you can infer that it is a sister of the president. But you can find that out. But what we are sure everybody knows is Frank Alo, who is the personal assistant to President Mahama. I'm sure all of you journalists know him. So they jointly own Malin Investments, which is the company that originally imported the vehicle, which they have given to Daniel Bugri Naabu to bribe him to destroy Akufo-Addo and make sure that Northerners hate him and that he doesn't get a vote in the North. Ladies and gentlemen, We cannot run a country like that. You recall that just a few days ago, they got Harun Atta, whom they've given an ambassadorial position in Namibia, to lie through his teeth that Akufo-Addo had told him that no Northerner can ever lead our party. Now, this revelation should tell you that it is just a carefully orchestrated scheme. When I refuted it, I'm sure a lot of you were saying, is it really true that Akufo-Addo didn't say that? But now, it is very clear that there's an ethnic, ethnocentric, tribal agenda that is meant to incite hatred against a good man who has been fighting all his life for the Ghanaian project. Nana Akufo-Addo. Wallahi, inshallah, Allah shall fight for Akufo-Addo. Ladies and gentlemen, I would not like to belabor the point, except to say to the people of Ghana that we need to go out there on December 7th and vote against one, arrogance, greed, selfishness, unpatriotism, corruption, bribery, ethnic bigotry, ethnocentrism, mismanagement, and if you want, downright incompetence. Everywhere, and thievery, actually. Everywhere that we have gone, the change mantra is in the air. Allah tells in the Quran, when the help of Allah and victory comes, and you see people embrace their religion in multitudes, celebrate the praises of your Lord, for he is oft forgiving, most merciful. I say to you, on 7th December, come out in your multitudes, embrace the NPP. Let us change this country. Let us change a new course and a new direction for this country. It is not about me. It is about you. It is about our children and our children's children. It is about generations yet unborn. It is about the blood and toil of our fathers. It is about the people who have died and laid down their lives that this country may prosper. That we do not allow their lives to have been lost in vain. That we rescue this country. I am a Northerner, full-blooded one. My father is Bisa, my mother is Mamprusi. But wallahi, the bread that I eat, my children's future, that is more important to me. There can people say, "Enye obi bibi ni obi, onipa bibi ni ni awaye ni ye." As Northerners, we are not just looking for people who are supposedly our brothers. We are looking for people who have our backs. For generations, the three northern regions have been classified as the poorest countries in this country, as the poorest regions in this country. I feel very ashamed. And when we get the one opportunity of a northern president to rescue us, this is where he takes us into a ditch. Ladies and gentlemen, change is coming. God bless Ghana. God bless our homeland, Ghana.